Hi, I'm Sherry with Ratchet Up Your Art, where we take the ordinary to the extraordinary. And this is part 2 of my 3-part video series of taking those flyers and turning them to backgrounds for cards. And if you missed my first video where we laid the basic foundation layer, go check it out. Now, let's get started as we ratchet up your art. I just wanted to summarize where we are in the project. In my last video, we created the basic foundation layer to the flyers. In this video, we will continue building the backgrounds of our project by adding 2 more layers, the smashing layer and the blending layer. I also have a couple other bonus tips that I added to these layers at the end of this video, so keep on watching while we ratchet up your art. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these backgrounds into card fronts, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to use Distress Oxides, and the colors I'm using are warm colors. I'm also going to throw in some blacks and some browns into this color palette because there are some dark edges on the cards that I really want to accentuate and provide a contrast. For the second foundation layer of the card front, I am taking the Distress Oxides and Distress Inks and I am putting them onto the palette. This is so that I can perform the smashing technique. Yes, that's a technical term. This is where we take the card fronts and we smash them into the inks to create an abstract, colorful pattern onto the backgrounds. Here I'm adding water so that I can create those beaded effects with the inks, and they will produce the puddles, as you see, onto the cards. The Tim Holtz air blower is really a useful tool to spread out those puddles that end up on the card front as you are performing the smashing technique. Let's go back and talk about drying for a second. If I didn't dry between layers, the oxides would just blend with one another. Now, drying doesn't have to be crispy to get the layered effect. While some artists will use a different heating element, I just use my embossing heat tool. The difference between the heat tools is that the embossing heat tool is more direct heat, and you will need to move more quickly with the tool so that you don't place heat on these cards for too long. Otherwise, it will just bubble up. If you have a heating tool that looks like a hairdryer, it will disperse the heat better. However, again, I caution you, do not keep the heat tool in one area for a long period of time. As I continue the smushing technique, I decided to use darker colors to contrast with the warm colors that I'm currently using. And I noticed that I got a little bit too much on the cards. So I decided to go ahead and spray the ink to produce a runny effect. I'm going to keep working on the smashing layer until I get the desired effect to my cards. However, the blending layer is coming up. And don't forget, there's 2 bonus tips that are coming up at the end of this video that I also add to this card. So keep on watching while we ratchet up your art. Now for the blending layer. I'm using the same Distress Oxide inks and colors as I used for the smashing layer. Except for this layer, I'll be using my blending brushes to blend some of the color onto the background to intensify different areas of color. I will repeat this process until I achieve the desired effect that I'm looking for these flyers. I have a couple more tips coming up. So keep watching while we transform these flyers into backgrounds. to go through here and do a quick summary of the backgrounds that we made on the back of these flyers. Looking at these, first of all, you don't even know that they are any kind of the flyers that we got in the mail. So I'm pretty impressed with how they turned out. So I'm going to take them one at a time here. Do a real quick close-up. I really like how the darkness of this one is coming in the different colors. But this one here, I really like the darkness. On this one, where I added pattern with my stencil to add a little bit of a focal point to this. And I like the pink. There's a lot of pink in this. And I really liked how that turned out. So I'm just going to line those up there so you can kind of look at them when I'm looking at these other ones. Now this one, what I was really attracted to on this one, sorry, I thought there was something on there. What I was really attracted to on this one was this right here. Looked very much like a cheetah pattern, or reminded me of some kind of animal pattern. And I really like the water effects that occurred on this one. And you can't really tell, but there's some writing right there, which is some of the texture of the background that I was looking for. This one is like the other pink one. It has the circles in there from the pattern that I added. And I just like how they're there, but they're kind of hidden. And I thought I was seeing some writing right here, but there's not any writing. But just really like the way that turned out. And then this one, the water effects, that was like awesome. It just really was bold, and I really like how that turned out with the water effect. And this one, I could tell you that this one was one of the dark blue backgrounds. See that line right there? You can kind of see that there's a line right there coming through. And then down here, I don't know if you could see it, but there's some writing right there, which is some texture that I was looking for. So anyway, those are the backgrounds that I did for the flyers. And keep watching, because in my next video, I am going to turn one or more of these into backgrounds for holiday cards. So if you haven't checked out that video, go check that out and see what I do with these backgrounds. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed, please consider doing so. It would really make my day. Thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art.